Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and today I'm doing a new mod spotlight / tutorial series on a new mod that I recently discovered called Forestry. This is a mod that kind of extends Buildcraft and it's focused entirely around trees, forests. It does a lot with wheat, pumpkins. It's basically all about farming and automating all the methods of farming that are available in the game. The mod is currently version 1.12. And that works with Minecraft version 1.81, the beta version. However, just today he posted a new version, Forestry version 1.2, which works with Minecraft 1.0. There's also new versions of Buildcraft 2.2.6 and 3.0.2, which this mod also works with both of those, and they also work with Minecraft 1.0. So the Minecraft 1.0 mods are starting to come, and Forestry was right up front as the head of the pack, and it's ready to roll. So without further ado, why don't I get started showing you some of the cool things you can do with this really fun and actually pretty deep mod. It might sound at first like, what do I need a tree farm for? Well, wait until you see what this mod does and you might be changing your tune. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing with this mod is it adds 3 new ores to the world. First off, we've got here this bluish ore, which is called apatite. And when you break it, you get this darkish blue diamond. As you can see, I've already given myself a handful of those. Secondly, we've got this copper-looking ore, which is copper, and this tin-looking ore, which is tin. And those who play Industrial Craft and Buildcraft should be familiar with these two ores. And because of the Minecraft Forge Ore Encyclopedia, these Industrial Craft versions of these ores work in all the recipes for Forestry. And the cool thing is that Forestry does not add the ores to the world if you already have Industrial Craft installed. So basically, if you're already using Industrial Craft, the copper and tin that is installed and put in the world for you as part of Industrial Craft will be the only copper and tin added. It won't add its own set of copper and tin. However, if you don't have Industrial Craft installed, it'll simply add them to the world by itself. So that's pretty cool. So copper and tin, there you go. And that gets smelted as you would expect into copper and tin ingots. Now there's actually a lot to this mod. There's tree farms, there's wheat farms, there's a whole fuel production line. You can actually convert a lot of the stuff that comes from trees into fuel that can power your Buildcraft engines. It actually adds its own engines to the game. There's biogas engines. There's also a peat-fired engine, which along with that comes a peat farm. There's pumpkin and cactus farms. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that this mod adds. So this video I'm only going to feature a handful of some beginner stuff to get kind of whet your appetite, and you're going to want to stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 of my video spotlight of this mod to see some of the other really cool stuff you can build. But for now, let's get on with this. Now you're probably asking, so what's up with this appetite stuff and what's the deal here? Well, let's throw down a crafting table and we'll take a piece of appetite and put it in there. We're going to need some sand. So why don't we put some sand in here, and we're going to set it up like this. So basically 1 piece of sand on the top, apatite in the middle, and sand on the bottom will give you 8 fertilizer each. So I'm going to get myself a handful of fertilizer here. That should be enough for now. And fertilizer is used for a couple different things. But that's what you use your apatite for. So next up, I've given myself some copper and tin from Industrial Craft. Again, because I have Industrial Craft installed, I'm using the Industrial Craft ores. However, if you didn't have Industrial Craft installed, these ores would be added to the game through Forestry. And 3 pieces of copper and 1 piece of tin gives you 4 pieces of bronze. So that's actually the bars that you want to use here to get your bronze. And then you're going to want to create a pattern like this with your bronze to get a sturdy machine. This is the foundation for most of the machines available in Buildcraft. Forestry add-on. So real quick off air here, I made a quick little system to run some combustion engines into a teleport pipe over frequency 10, and I created a lever to activate things. So that was just a quick off air thing that I made for you guys. Let's get started with the first machine that I'm going to build for you guys. It's called the Arboretum. The Arboretum is the first step in creating a tree farm in the Forestry mod. Now, you're going to need that sturdy machine that I built for you guys just a moment ago. You're also going to need some gold, and you're going to need some glass. So you put your sturdy machine in the middle, some gold on the 4 sides, and some glass like that. And you've got an Arboretum. This guy is really quite cool. let's pick a nice spot, how about right here in front of where I'm at, to place down our Arboretum. Awesome. The first thing we're going to want to do is connect it with power. Because I like things to look nice, I'm going to go ahead and connect it with power underground. I'm going to set up frequency 10 here, and can receive true with my teleport pipes. Yes, this mod works with teleport pipes. And I'm going to go ahead and activate this lever. And if you watch here for a moment, you'll see that things all around this little area are going to start to clear out. See how it's completely clearing the area nearby? Very cool. And it's throwing all the junk that it creates on the ground, just like a Buildcraft filler might do. That would clear the ground of all the junk around it. And once that's done, it's kind of finished with what it's doing. So why don't I sleep through the night here, and I'll be back in a minute to show you the next piece. Alright then, so our Arboretum here has completely cleared this area. So I'm going to turn off these engines for a moment and go back into the interface for the Arboretum to show you how it works. As you can see, there are 3 slots here. One for this darkish brown substance, another for some saplings, and another for some sand. Believe it or not, these 2 are your input slots, and this is an output slot. And this darkish brown substance here is called humus. Let's see how we make humus. First, we're going to need some dirt. And we head over to our crafting table, and we can set up some dirt like so. And in the middle of that dirt, we're going to put our fertilizer. That's right, this is where we're using our fertilizer. That gives us humus. This is the dirt, basically, that arboretums use to grow trees. Next, we're going to need some saplings. So I'm just going to give myself some of these regular old saplings here. But again, you could probably use any kind of sapling here. That'll probably work just as fine. And I'm going to go ahead and open up this Arboretum and place the humus in the humus slot and the saplings in the sapling spot. But for now, I'm just going to put the humus in, just to show you what happens when I activate this lever now. Once there's humus in the Arboretum slot, and we activate the engines, you can see the Arboretum starts building. And it's using all the humus that we just placed in those slots to build the Arboretum. Only a little bit left. Next, we want to place down our saplings. So we place our saplings in here, and you can see them getting automatically planted in a very nice pattern that's useful in Minecraft, alternating as such. Now, our saplings have been planted, our humus is on the ground, the Arboretum has done everything it's supposed to do. It's planted the trees. Now we just sit back and relax and wait for the trees to grow. And I'm disabling the switch, and I'm going to show you the next machine while I'm waiting for these trees to grow. The next machine to show you, again, we need a sturdy machine, as shown. And we need some diamonds for this guy. 4 diamonds and 4 glass create a logger. Now this does kind of the opposite of what the Arboretum does. It chops down trees. And the logger's area of effect is a little bit larger than the Arboretum's. So the nice thing is you don't have to place it directly in the center here. You can put it off a little bit to the left or the right. I think it's about 1 or 2 blocks wider than the Arboretum. And what this guy does is chop down the trees and collect both the trees and the saplings that fall off the leaves. So I'm going to just place this guy right here as shown. If you right click on it, you'll see there's no interface. But we do want to connect it to some power, so that's what I'm going to do here now. Power is connected. Excellent. The nice thing about this guy is you have 2 options for how you export the items it collects. You can either place a chest right next to it, or you can pump the saplings and the wood out. And why don't I show you how to pump them out, because a Buildcraft add-on after all, and you guys are probably going to want to see how that works. So why don't I real quick build up a pump system to show you exactly how to pump items out of a logger. So this is an incredibly crude and ugly looking design, but this is really meant to showcase how the mod works more so than be pretty and efficient. It's actually kind of opposite of what you'd want to do, but again, I'm just showing you how this works. The logger, when you set up a wooden pipe, you want to pump out one of the sides of the logger, any one of those 4 sides, and that's where it'll start pumping out the wood that it collects from the trees nearby. And as you can see, one of the trees has already grown. The top of the logger is where you're going to pump out and get your saplings. So any saplings that fall off the leaves on that tree will get pumped out of the top. The other option is just to place the chest next to the logger, and it'll automatically fill the chest right next to it. Now an intelligent thing to do would probably be to connect this wooden pipe right into this Arboretum. That way the saplings that come out of this guy would land in the Arboretum in the sapling slot. But again, just demoing for you guys. If you're paying attention, you might have also noticed that this tree that grew, it no longer has this brownish dirt here, it has sand. So every time a tree grows in this humus, it gets replaced with sand. And that's what this guy's sand slot is for. Once the tree is chopped down, the Arboretum will recognize that there's now room. It'll replace that sand with humus, it'll collect the sand that it got over here, and it will plant a new sapling. So just to demonstrate that, why don't I knock off this power line here and connect it as such. Perfect. So let's go hit that lever and see what happens. Energy is going to flow straight into that logger. And oh, look, it's starting to chop down the tree. And if we look at the side of the logger, we'll see some wood coming out the side and some saplings coming out the top, just as I described earlier. And the saplings are all going to fall, and all the wood's going to come out of that logger. Excellent. And they're all landing in the chest just as you'd expect. Now, remember I disconnected the power from the Arboretum, so why don't we reconnect that guy now? I'm just going to knock this guy off and hook him up back here. And if we watch this slot, you'll see it was replaced by humus from the sand, and it plants a new sapling right on the spot where it landed. So if you keep both of these slots filled with power, it'll instantly harvest any trees that grow and replace those grown trees once again with the humus and the saplings that are in the Arboretum slot. And again, as the leaves start to fall, any saplings that fall off of those leaves will get pumped into the chest. Or, if you're being smarter about it, you might want to pump them directly into the Arboretum. So I've given myself a piece of bone meal here, and I'm going to automatically grow a tree, just so you can see how this works. Ta-da! A tree is grown. So, the power is going to land into the forester, and it's going to start chopping down the tree in just a moment. Oh, I forgot I shut off my engines. No, I didn't shut off my engines. I built my lever a little too close to my engines. So let's just remedy that. There we go. Power's running again. So, as I said, the forester is going to chop down that tree. It was quickly replaced with humus, the sand that was underneath there, and it should plant a new sapling shortly. There it goes. And here comes the wooden saplings out of the forester again, and the Arboretum is again short on humus and saplings. And the last machine I'm going to show you here is another Arboretum, but we're going to expand the Arboretum's abilities by adding some diamonds to it. So take an existing Arboretum, put some diamond and glass around it, and you get a forester. Now the forester is yet another machine that we're going to place down, let's say right here. And of course it needs power, which, because I placed it in a funny way, it would get otherwise. There, that's a little better. Now the forester, what this guy does is he uses bone meal, but not directly bone meal, an item we're going to create like bone meal, to automatically grow these trees. So let's sleep through the night and check out how to make that. So first we want to take some glass and build a pattern like so. You get 12 empty vials. Place 3 of those empty vials across the top of a crafting table, fertilizer on the bottom 2 sides, and bone in the middle, and we get 3 catalyst. Let's make a couple more of those. Now I've got 12 catalyst. And as you can see, I'm going to activate my farm again here, but this time I'm going to disable the logger. And we're just going to let the forester run. Once we place our catalyst in the forester, nothing's happening just yet. However, activating the power, and the forester, once it receives enough energy, will take the catalyst and apply it randomly to one of the trees in the area. So there we go. It's starting to use some catalyst, and it's growing some trees for us. Very cool. Now, because I broke the line to my logger there, it's not chopping them down yet, but that's easily remedied by replacing the golden pipe there. And the Forester is using up its catalysts, and because I just reconnected that golden pipe, we're starting to get some wooden saplings again. And don't forget, our Arboretum here is going to replace all that sand that it collected with humus and replant the saplings. So again, this is the Forestry mod. It's an add-on for Buildcraft. It adds a lot of really cool functionality if you want to farm for trees. And keep in mind that this mod adds a lot of functions to Buildcraft that I haven't just yet covered on. There's a whole wheat farm, like I mentioned earlier. There's 2 new engines that get created, and you can turn a lot of this plant life into fuel for your engines. So basically, if you're looking for a way to automate some engine factories and use plant life that's renewable, it's a good way to go. So it's definitely worth checking out. So this is Direwolf20 signing off on part 1 of the Forestry mod. I hope you guys enjoyed checking this out. I think it's a really neat mod, and once you see some of the other cool things you can do with this mod, you'll be really interested in checking it out. I definitely plan to use it in my Let's Play that's coming up, version 1.0, once all the mods are updated, so you can look for some of the neat designs I'll come up with in that, but also look forward to parts 2 and 3 of the Forestry mod Spotlight. Check out the forum link in the description of this video to find out where to download it and how to use it. There's also a wiki that gives you a lot of information about all the other cool stuff you can make. So this is Direwolf20 signing off. Take it easy.